Alpha! Nerd. Entertainment. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another No Death Run review. I'm Steve, aka Alpha Nerd. Today we're doing X-Men for the Sega GameGear, a childhood favorite of mine. So we're going to turn it from piece of cake to I don't think so. I guess that's their way of saying easy and hard. We're going to start things off with Wolverine, and we're going to go after Omega Red. Okay, so admittedly, you can use Cyclops, and it's a lot easier for a boss fight against Omega Red, but I'm stubborn, and seeing as Wolverine is actually awesome in this game, yes, Wolverine's actually awesome in an X-Men game, I decided to have that battle with Wolverine because I feel like that's a more fitting battle for Wolverine to face than Cyclops. Instead of fighting at a distance and shooting him like a bitch, fighting Omega Red head-on with Wolverine just seems more manly. So I did this one first as it's kind of difficult to do with Wolverine. Here's the thing about this game. The levels are actually quite easy. Sometimes they can be very maze-like. That's the hardest part about them. The enemies, you can almost take their damage at all times and just press through and find other health. The difficulty is not in the levels, but in the bosses. So as I slash my way with Wolverine's vicious claws and the Orient here, let's talk about the GamePro magazine review. And let's start with the music, the sound. As you can hear, the music is pretty awesome in not just this level, but in many levels. There's a couple duds throughout the game, and again, we're talking about an 8-bit GameGear here, so we have to rate it accordingly. The music is fun in this game, and the sound effects are also fairly decent. If I'm going to be generous, it's going to be with the sound, 5 out of 5. The graphics for an 8-bit GameGear game are also not that bad either. They're not fantastic. If you've ever seen Aladdin or Desert Speed Trap for the GameGear, you'll see that their graphics are definitely better, and the future X-Men games graphics would also improve, so I'll go with a 4 out of 5, as they're still pretty good. The sprites look pretty decent. You can tell that's Wolverine without question, and some of the characters look a little better than others. The villains there also look pretty solid as well. So we got a 5 out of 5 for sound, a 4 out of 5 for graphics, and the controls are actually very good. The double jump that can be performed with every character except for Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler will just jump super high anyways, and it's actually better. The flying characters don't have a double jump, well, because they can fly. Now, the flying, yes, is limited, which makes me dislike playing as Rogue and Storm, because the general platforming kind of sucks with them. But the control in this game it's perfect. I don't know how they could screw it up. The hit detection is actually quite good, both when the enemy hits you and when you hit the enemy. 4 out of 5. I guess sometimes there's a little bit of delay in your swing and your jump, but that's really nitpicking. So we'll go with a 4 out of 5. Now, the fun factor, this was a popular game on the GameGear back in the day. I think a lot of people own this one who had GameGears. I had it, but it was considered a very, very hard game, and I do consider it still a very hard game. Like any game, though, once you figure it out, it becomes very easy. Now, I would say this entire game is actually very easy, except for the final fight with Magneto, which is absolutely brutal and requires a handful of practice, if not more. But I'm going to give the fun factor in this game a 5 out of 5. I really enjoyed playing it, 30 years removed from a kid, and I loved playing it as a kid then. Maybe I'm a little generous with these ratings, but hey, it's from my perspective, and art is subjective, and so are video games. Okay, so you might be wondering, why am I standing up there slashing? Well, Wolverine, when you have your power activated, your mutant power, and slashing, you'll build your own health bar, which is pretty awesome with Wolverine, in all honesty. As I'm running out of mutant power here, like I said, it's much easier with Cyclops or Iceman or even Storm for that matter. I'm going to backtrack now and go get some health and mutant power. I was stubborn and wanted to fight Omega Red with Wolverine because I just feel like that makes more sense. But you can backtrack in every level when fighting a boss, which is kind of corny but also kind of handy. It gives you like a bit of a chance, except for with Magneto. Only with Nightcrawler can you do so. So now that my health is well over half and I got a bunch of mutant power and Omega Red is just a sitting duck now, I'm going to finish him off in my stubborn fashion. Yes, it would have been quicker with Cyclops, but whatever. We got the job done. So pretty badass still image there of Emma Frost and Sebastian Shaw with his big mutton chops. This level drove me nuts as a kid. I remember putting this game away for a few months and giving up on it out of frustration, not knowing how to defeat Sebastian Shaw. You can try slashing him with Wolverine, you can try shooting him with Cyclops, you can beat other levels first and unlock other characters and attack them with them. Nothing will work. Not Rogue, not Psylocke, not Nightcrawler. Nothing will defeat them when you face Sebastian Shaw head on. Now, if I would have known as a kid that Sebastian Shaw was basically invincible, I might have had a better clue. I was familiar with characters like Magneto and Apocalypse and many other enemies, such as Sauron, that I'll face later in this game. But I didn't know much about Sebastian Shaw and his weaknesses. I ended up discovering him by mistake. You gotta have Sebastian Shaw defeat himself. As I'll show as I get to the end of the level, you have to get him trapped on this fire pad that will eventually burn him to death. Your attacks do essentially nothing. They do nothing at all. You gotta have him trapped in that fire. It's the only way to beat him. So the start of this level starts off with an elevator maze. Very annoying stuff. As a kid, also annoyed me. I would easily end up getting through the level as well and getting to this part here where you slide around on ice. I don't know why there's ice up here, but yeah, the early stage of the level can be pretty irritating for a new player as they may go in and out of wrong elevators, kind of going back and forth and around in circles, going all the wrong places. But once you eventually get to the top here, it's pretty easy as you work your way back down to the bottom where you'll find Sebastian Shaw running around like a jackass, looking more like Namor or a Submariner, but whatever, it is what it is. Cue the boss fight music. Now we just got to find Sebastian Shaw. In this particular playthrough, I had a little bit of annoyance with the elevators, as you have to get him to follow you around and chase you. It was a little bit irritating for me. One thing I do want to say is there's Sebastian Shaw there with his sweet ponytail and mutton chops. This game is very generous with health and mutant power. There's mutant power and health hidden everywhere. It's barely even hidden. It's just sort of scattered all over the place. As I've said earlier in the first level, that this game is very generous and very easy in its levels. It's all about defeating the bosses where the difficulty lies in this game. Get on the elevator, you fucking idiot. You fucking retarded? Get on the elevator. Alright, fuck this. Go down, you fucking stupid elevator. The main part of my annoyances is when I do any playthrough, I like to make it fast and smooth and perfect. Standing around waiting for elevators to get this moron up to me so I can defeat him does kind of agitate me a little bit. But here we go. I'm going to stand in the fire a little bit myself as I have my mutant power out so I can heal as I slash. But I'm just enough out of the way of the fire as it sits there and burns the balls and dick of Sebastian Shaw to a crisp. My health really low, but I get a little bit of health back. There we go. Sebastian Shaw, done. There we go. I think it's time for a little Cyclops. Yeah. Beautiful screenshot there of Wolverine, which was originally drawn by Canadians Todd McFarlane and my favorite comic book artist. So say goodbye to Wolverine. Now we got 2 levels with Cyclops. Probably my favorite characters to use in the game. They're both beasts in their own way, and as I said, this game is pretty generous with its mutant abilities, so you can definitely make use of Cyclops' laser and shoot just about everybody you face. This level, again, kind of like a maze. That's pretty much the challenge in all the levels in a very annoying way, but once you know where to go, you can kind of blast through really quickly, and I do so in this particular level to get to the boss. And I don't know her name, but she's also in the Genesis version. I don't know her name. If anybody knows this boss's name in this level, let me know. Another cool thing about this game, both water or sewage, or even lava for that matter, doesn't really hurt you all that much. The lava hurts you more than everything else, but the sewage and water takes very little damage. And I think that's fair. Let's face it, if you're a big tough Cyclops and you're running around in some sewage water, yeah, it's going to gross you out, and maybe you'll get a coli in a week's time, but well, moving through the sewage, it's not going to harm or kill Cyclops. It's not going to prevent him from getting to his enemy and his end goal. So yeah, I like how they aren't stingy on taking tons of health from water or sewage water. Lightning quick to the boss. Cue the boss music. Time to defeat this chick. Let me know her name, guys, if you know her name in the comments. This staff-wielding bitch with blue hair, she's also in the Genesis version. Let me know her name. Boom. Cyclops again. A nice still image of Psylocke there. My favorite character in the game because she is the only character I can defeat Magneto with. I get my ass whooped by everybody else, and I've tried everybody else. I've come relatively close with Rogue. I made a little bit of ground with Nightcrawler, but I failed with everyone else other than Psylocke. So here we go, we're fighting the Brood. Who remembers the Brood? They basically kind of look like aliens from, well, Alien or Aliens, directed by, what's his face from the Terminator, James Cameron, the greatest director of all time, did awesome movies. So yeah, the Brood, kind of a rip-off of Alien. This level pissed me off as a kid. This thing right here. When you're 10 years old and stupid as fuck, it takes you a real long time to figure that out. Just jump on it over and over until it falls through. It's amazing how stupid 10 and 11-year-olds are. Like, yeah, I was 11 when I got this, and yeah, it took me like 2 seconds to figure out at age 39. At 11, probably like a couple days. I don't know, kids are stupid. I was a really dumb kid. I'm still not all that bright, but I got my strengths, I got my weaknesses. But I'm a whole lot smarter now than I was when I was fucking 11, that's for damn sure. Another level that I know exactly where to go really quickly. Well, I kind of know where to go in every level in this game now, but, with Sebastian Shaw slowing things down kind of annoyed me. But, yeah, I'm going to have to backtrack a little bit with this fight because the Brood end boss is very strong. Another upbeat, kick-ass song as well. Well, kick-ass for an 8-bit GameGear game. pretty terrible compared to 16-bit games, or even the NES for that matter, that clearly had a better sound chip than a fucking GameGear. But for a GameGear, not too bad. Yeah, cheesy little secret right here. You don't even need to face the guys, you blast them. I will run out of mutant power before I finish him off because he's super strong, so now I'm going to have to backtrack and find some mutant power to come back and finish him off the same cheesy, easy way, but hey, whatever gets the job done, right? Alright, now we're gonna bust out Rogue. Stupid ass picture there to start off this level, as I use Rogue to fly through this entire level because this level is long, it's tedious, it's obnoxious, its music is also probably the weakest in the entire game. Any character you use can pretty much kick Sauron's ass. You know, like, you know, each boss is generally weaker to certain X-Men that you use. Sauron just seems kind of vulnerable to everybody. So, yeah, might as well get the job done quick and just fly on through with Rogue. I also enjoy throwing the front kick out while flying. Just looks kind of hilarious and cool and funny. Well, I guess actually this song isn't the worst. There's worse songs in the game. Just a little more repetitive than the rest of the other songs. Who else had a hard-on for Jean Grey and Rogue as a kid? Put your hand up and jump in the comments. I know I sure as hell did, as I fly in here kicking Sauron directly in the face. Little sweet spot. If you fight Sauron with anybody right here in this corner, he can't really hit you. Sometimes you'll have to inch forward a little bit to throw out some kicks, because sometimes he'll back off and you won't no longer land shots. But I'm landing the shots nice and clean, so much so that I decided to jump off, get the extra health, and finish him off right in his face. Alright, now shit gets very, 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 very serious and extremely hard. Magneto, that is. Oh yes, Magneto. Now the game goes from like difficulty. The entire game, honestly, is like a 2 out of 10 for difficulty. And then you get to this level and it's like 10 out of 10 for difficulty. It's absolutely ridiculous. You got those Judge Dredd looking motherfuckers right there that are scattered everywhere with these robots that will make it very difficult to get through. This is another maze-like level. 3 of them for sure have a huge maze element. The sewers, the Sebastian Shaw level, this level. I don't like notifications going off when I'm doing commentary. But I think it's a chick I'm talking to, so that's pretty awesome. So we're going to leave that commentary in just for fun. That's what's up. Anyway, so I'm going to continue on here with Psylocke. She's a beast. And like I said, the only character that I can beat Magneto with. I've seen people do it with Iceman. I can't even get to Magneto with Iceman without dying. Like I said, it's a long level, and there's a lot of shit that can hit you and kill you along the way. Oh, she's hitting me up good. She's making the review. So with that being said, though, like Cyclops, Wolverine does like no damage. I tried just for jokes. I figured Wolverine would be really vulnerable and really useless, and he is. But Psylocke gets the job done. Better than Nightcrawler, better than Rogue. Most people use Rogue. I still struggled with Rogue big time. My second closest I could come to defeating Magneto was with Rogue, but Psylocke all the way. Also, my favorite song in the game. It really picks up and has multiple bars. It's a pretty good song.
Oh shit.
Okay, so as I sit here and wait for the elevator, there was a lot of reward and a ton of satisfaction in finally defeating this game almost 30 years later. Now, I got it in 93 as a new game, and probably stopped playing it somewhere in 95, because I had other Genesis games. I had Sega CD, 32X, and come 1996, I'd get a PS1. So it's not like I put a ton of years into this game as a kid, but I do remember losing over and over to Magneto. It took me long enough to get to Magneto as it was. So to finally defeat this game was a pretty awesome feeling. It's like I avenged my 11-year-old self. See, the game isn't that tough, but Magneto is. When he touches you, and he will, ever so slightly, he will just rip your health bar down to absolutely nothing super quick. So if you let him touch you 3-4 times, if that, you're just done. So there's a real sweet spot in the way you approach his movement and how you hit him. And it took till now for me to finally figure that out. Because as a kid, you know, you'd get game over and I gotta do it all over again. It seems like forever. And you do it 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times, you eventually give up as a kid. Well, I wasn't giving up now. I finally have XMEN on GameGear under my belt. So with that being said, guys, thank you for watching as I make my way through the rest of this level. I'm a little bit lost right now, that's fine. I'm getting back on track.
A little bit lost. Should be back on track very soon. Yeah, we're good. Those Judge Dredd looking motherfuckers.
See, using Nightcrawler in this level is a breeze because you can just teleport through all the walls and you can get to Magneto super quick. And then you can also teleport away from Magneto back through the walls to find health and other mutant power, but he's just not strong enough. He just doesn't have the powerful attack enough for me to do it. I've seen one other person online to do it with Nightcrawler, but fuck me, I couldn't do it. And they certainly do screw you over by leaving you trapped in that room with Magneto. Every other boss, like I said, you can kind of backtrack and go find other health, other mutant power, and come back and kind of fight them and grind them down. Otherwise, they'd all probably be really hard. But they were smart enough to know, they're like, no, we're not going to hold your hand for Magneto. You got to do it on your own. And, well, I finally did it. So, yeah, pretty cool game.
Bitch.
I don't know anyone who has interest in Game Gear games, but, you know, there are definitely some good ones in its library.
Hey, do or die time. This is extremely hard.
As Magneto swoops down, his like magnetic force field is what does all the damage to you. So do the shimmy shake, move left, move right, and don't let that shit touch you, and he's actually pretty easy.
Let's go! That took a ton of practice to figure out how to do. Everyone says use Rogue or Nightcrawler. I could not do it with Rogue. I came close with Rogue but couldn't do it. I couldn't even come close with Nightcrawler. Though Nightcrawler can... Every other character is trapped in the room with Magneto. There's no way out. You can't backtrack for health. You can't backtrack for anything. With Nightcrawler, you can, so that's one of the reasons people like to use him. Rogue, very strong. Psylocke, the way to go for me, baby. X-Men, for the Game Gear. Owned this game as a child. It tortured me as a child. I now have the privilege of kicking its ass. As a kid, I was able to make it to Magneto. Could never, ever beat him. That's for young Steve, baby. That's for 10, 11-year-old Steve who just could not beat Magneto. Fuck yeah. Nice little shot of Nightcrawler there. Cyclops and Charles Xavier before that. And showed Wolverine and Psylocke throughout the game. Nice little screenshot there. These are all from comic books, by the way. I remember a lot of this comic book art. Actually, the picture of Wolverine is Todd McFarlane. That is before one of the levels in the game. And Psylocke. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Only way I know how to beat Magneto. The only way I know how to beat Magneto. And because of Psylocke, I absolutely love her in this game. Absolutely love her. She's a beast when it comes to fighting Magneto in this game anyways. Welcome to the next level. Alright, there we go. That is such a fun one to close out. Such a fun one to close out. It's a good game too. A lot of people say, hey, are there good games on the Game Gear? Hell yes. I think that's my third no-death run of a Game Gear game. I got Aladdin, I got Desert Speed Trap, and now X-Men. I have one more on the list, I can't remember. But those are the three I had as kids, though. Those were three I had as a kid. Booyah. Oh, yeah, GG Shinobi as well. I didn't own GG Shinobi as a kid, but that's the best of the Game Gear games, I swear. This is a good one, though. There we go. Awesome. Thanks for watching.